along to the Property Investor Show Autumn Edition 2017, and we've just finished the great landlords debate. And guys, so much going on in the private rented sector. Sorry, I'm joined by David Lauritsen and Eddie Hooker. Guys, so much going on, and yet actually there was maybe 50 people in there.
Yes.
That's quite a disappointing turnout.
Yes, I guess, well, it's a Friday and perhaps there'll be more people along tomorrow, but you'd expect there's so much so much happening now. The recent announcements of the Conservative Party about what they're proposing and the Labour Party's ideas to rent control, and no one knows quite what that's all about. So disappointing as maybe there were more people that are coming along to learn, and because there is so much happening and so much we need to be clued up about.
I agree with David. Do you know what? I think it sums up the landlord community, unfortunately. Most people don't see themselves as landlords, don't understand the world. Same with letting agents, really. They're just getting on with their day-to-day. There is a juggernaut coming down the line here, and I think the industry needs to get a grip.
Indeed. And in the landlords that were there, they were the professional landlords, the landlords that care. Here's another landlord that cares, one of our other panellists here, Richard Blanco from the NLA London rep. Richard, we're just saying actually quite a disappointing turnout in terms of landlords today, and especially when there's so much going on. The landlords that were there, they're the ones that care, the ones that want to educate themselves, that are professional, because they're in that room. We're preaching to the converted. What about the other 1.8 million landlords? Where are they in all of this?
Well, obviously, we're all doing our best in the landlord associations and yourself, Vanessa, to try and get people informed and get people on board with good practice. I actually think the redress scheme, which is going to be compulsory for landlords and was announced by Sajid Javid at the Tory Party conference, is going to be a kind of backdoor national register, actually, and I think that's probably going to be one of the ways in which landlords are going to get really informed about the changes. But I mean, our research tends to show that just over half of landlords, for example, think that they're not going to be affected by the Section 24 changes, but only half of them say that they fully understand it. So, that I'm afraid we're seeing a lot of landlords still being well behind the curve in terms of understanding some of the changes. And I would say join a landlords association, get yourself accredited so that you get on top of your game.
Agreed. And you actually feel that the PRA is a bigger threat to landlords than Section 24. You said that on the panel.
I do, because I think actually finance and funding is the lifeblood of my business, the lifeblood of our business. And if that tap gets turned off, that prevents us from buying more properties and expanding our businesses. And, landlords are interested in money, they're interested in finance, and when they find they can't get that anymore, that will really wake them up to some of the changes, I think. I think the government has pulled far too many levers. We've got additional stamp duty, we've got the Section 24 changes, we've got the 2 lots of PRA changes. They've really slammed the brakes on landlords expanding their business, and it's too much all at once.
No, I agree.
I've got to go to another debate, but the interesting thing I took out of the debate today, look, there's got to be a lot of optimism in the marketplace. It's still good to be a landlord. There's still money to be made from being a landlord. But as I said earlier, I just think we need to embrace that actually it's not, whilst a lot of us do it as a part-time job, we've got to understand what we're doing. At the end of the day, we're providing accommodation and homes to people. That's what being a landlord is. It's not all about money. It's not all about making huge profit. Whilst that's important, we've got to think of the tenant as well. And yes, there are as many rogue tenants out there are rogue landlords. But the vast majority of tenants are families with children and wanting schools and wanting to access healthcare. Let's not use them as a commodity. Let's learn what we're doing, get better at what we're doing, spread the word.
Can I just ask you one thing before you go, as part of obviously with the Property Redress, who's our partner scheme for property tribes, you're obviously going to be involved in the conversation about landlord redress, but you know from lettings agent redress that there isn't enough enforcement of that. So how is it going to be enforced on landlords?
I think That's going to be the big challenge. But let me say, the first thing which I know trading standards are already saying is that they don't want a brand new body set up to do this. They've already got the redress scheme, property redress scheme, property ombudsman and the ombudsman services. Trading standards don't want to be fired from hundreds of schemes around the country. That's half the problem. All the councils with licensing, they're all doing their own rules, they're all making it up as they're going along. If we stick to what we've got, the mechanisms and infrastructure is already there, trading standards will support. And that's what they've said to us already. But let's not reinvent the wheel.
Right. Well, thank you very much. I know you've got to go. So thank you, Eddie. Thank you. So David, then there's just us now.
Yes.
So I really liked and felt it was important that at the end of the debate, you wanted to bring forth some positive things. As landlords, we do feel that there's a lot of negativity, a lot of anti-landlord rhetoric in the media. So what do you think landlords have to feel positive about?
Well, there's still good money to be made in our business. It's still an exciting thing to be in. For 10, 15 years now, we've had the whole raft of changes have come along. More regulation of our sector, changes to how we can access mortgages, so on. There's just so much stuff happening and all the time. But we have, as landlords, taken that on board and managed it. The sector has continued to grow. I think there might be people who might look at the sheer numbers of changes that have happened and more that are coming, and they may just want to lose heart. So we could perhaps see a little bit of a shrinking of the sector, perhaps. But believe me, it's still possible to be a landlord. It's still possible to manage it on your own, even with just one or two properties. There is stuff to know, but you can. There are books like mine, Successful Property Letting, How to Make Money in Buy-to-Let, to tell you the latest situation on that. There's Property Tribes, a fantastic site to find out and then converse with other landlords and to get clued up, join the National Landlords Association. There is stuff to know, but we've all encapsulated it. There's information out there to help you. And many landlords are still making money. There will be people who lose heart because of all the changes that are coming in and difficulties of getting more finance and so on. But there'll be many people who continue in there. And for those who stick in it, there's still good money to be made and a lot of satisfaction in terms of looking after tenants, housing them, and it's a very, very responsible thing that we all do. And so we should all be happy with ourselves. And don't forget that whatever changes are proposed by the government, they still need us to house people, because without us, where are they going to go? It's not that many new properties being built. People do need accommodation in the short term or medium term, renting, and people are happy to rent through choice. They're not forced to do it, many people. So we do provide a very valuable service, and we should be happy with that. And as a result, because of that, there's still money to be made and a lot of satisfaction to be gained too.
So you're going to keep the landlord faith?
I'm keeping the landlord faith. I'm not really expanding my portfolio much now. I've got enough and I do very well. But I'm keeping the faith, and I'm certainly not exiting this market, no. And I'm looking forward to having a long, successful retirement and many, many years of growth through my properties in terms of capital value and rental returns, and also providing satisfaction to and a good place to live for my tenants. It's great fun and a great thing to be in.
Indeed, and I think we as a community, we can be part of spreading the message to the more smaller, the more accidental, the amateur landlords.
Absolutely. Bigger and larger landlords, they still need to learn, and I'm always learning, and I learn from sites like yours and other sites. There's always something new to learn, but that doesn't mean it's impossible for someone new to come in to learn the stuff that they need to know to be successful as landlords, starting afresh and anew.
I do think it's going to be the professional landlord that treats it like a business that will see the opportunities and will survive and thrive. So this is why these kind of debates are so important. The gatherings here today are so important. So thank you very much for being part of it all. Thank you.
Thank you.